Parshat Shemot. As we begin Sefer Shemot, the second book of the 5 books of Moshe, a lot happens in this Parsha, which is why you need to keep up with the Parsha. But let's take a look at a few sections. You know this is coming up. We've already alluded to it by singing, take off your shoes. The spot you're standing is holy ground. Moshe haya ro'eh et tzon yitro chotano kohen Midyan. Now Moshe was shepherding the flock of Yitro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian. So know that this happens well into the Parsha. We've already heard the names of those who went to Mitzrayim. We've already experienced the birth of Moshe, which, as George reminded us, was a basket case. We've already had Moshe witness the harsh treatment of one of the Hebrew slaves, and then killing the overseers and making his way, fleeing really, to Midian. So this is happening now. V'yinhag et hatzon achar hamidbar v'yaveh et har Elohim choreva. He, meaning Moshe, led the flock behind the wilderness and came to the mountain of God, to Chorev. Vayar malach Adonai elav b'lav eish mitoch hasneh vayar v'hinei hasneh be'er va'eish v'hasneh einenu uchal. And Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh's messenger, the malach, was seen by him as a flame of fire out of the midst of the bush. I have to stop here for a moment. Boer ba'esh, a flame, a boer. That's my middle name, Be'er. Although I always thought my middle name was spelt with an aleph. Moshe Ber is my full name. And then at my first Ohala, my first rabbinical convection for unconventional rabbis, I was told by Reb Zalman of blessed memory, no, it's spelled with an ayin. You are a flame. I really liked that. And so is the bush. And Yahweh's messenger was seen by him as the flame of a fire out of the midst of a bush. And he, Moshe, saw. Now here the bush is burning with fire, but the bush is not consumed. A voice calls out from the flame, Moshe, Moshe. Doesn't it kind of sound like Moshe's being cradled by the Tamim HaMikra, by the trope marks? Moshe, Moshe, Mercha Tibcha. And what does Moshe respond? Hineni. Here I am. In this moment, I am alive. And here comes where we started this morning. Vayomer al tikrav halom, shana alecha miyal raglecha, ki hamakom asher ata omed alav admat kodesh hu. For the place you're standing on is holy ground, admat kodesh hu. This is the dialogue that then transpires. Moshe is puzzled, perhaps shaken, by his invitation to stand with Hashem. And he responds, Mi anochi ki elech el paro. Of course, this is after Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh says, Go to Pharaoh and tell Pharaoh to let my people go. Va'avduni, to serve me, is the rest of that sentence. Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh? Ehyeh answers, Vayomer, Ki ehyeh imach. I'll be with you. Moshe replies, Ma shemo, ma amar aleha. What's your name? Is it Mary or Sue? Moshe has no clue who is calling out to him from the bush. What am I, going crazy? And this voice is telling me to go to Egypt, to stand before Pharaoh? Tell the children of Israel that Ehyeh has sent me to you. Ko tomar livnei Yisrael, Ehyeh shalachini aleichem. That's what Ehyeh tells Moshe to do. Moshe still doesn't believe what is going on. So God decides, okay, it's time to pull the rabbit out of the hat. You see your staff there? Take your staff. Ah! This might be the reason for my fear of snakes. And God turns it into a snake. And then, voila, abracadabra, turns it back into a staff. But see, we have a little problem here in that Moshe is not a confident guy. Moshe says, who am I that I should go to Pharaoh? And why the name of this wonderful rabbi is escaping me at the moment, hopefully her name will come to me, and I am quoting her. She's a Hadar Rev. Why should I should go to Pharaoh? God does not reply. God says nothing. He does, Dena, it's Dena, that's her first name. He does not point to Moshe's inherent qualities or demonstrated leadership. God doesn't say, who are you? You are Moshe. You're someone who stands by the oppressed. You saved one of your brethren from being beaten to death. You protected your future wife and sister-in-laws when they were beaten, denied water. You're a man of great accomplishment and of even greater potential. When I was here in the burning bush, you're the only one who had the curiosity and wisdom to stop. But does God say any of these things? No. Instead, God tells Moshe that God will help him to be successful regardless of who he is. Vayomer ki ehyeh imach. I will be with you. Well, I'm not quite sure that's a confidence-building measure. God's answer might have been intended as encouraging, but read through Moshe's eyes, it is devastating. Moshe asks, basically, am I good enough? And God says, not really, but I'll help you. Mi anochi ki ilech el Paro. Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh? Oh, who am I? Should I go to Pharaoh?
We're not worthy! We're not worthy! We're not worthy! We're stuck! We suck!
Yeah, well, Moshe feels the same way as they do. Moshe's in Wayne's World. I am not worthy. Vayomer Moshe el Adonai ki bi Adoni lo ish dvarim anochi. Moshe comes up with more reasons why Moshe is not qualified. And Moshe says, I am my God, be Adonai. I am not an eloquent man, and I have never been. Send someone else. And what does God respond? V'yata la. Lech ve'anochi ehyeh im picha. Go, and I will be with your mouth. I'll be in your mouth. I'll speak for you. Oh, yeah, this is great. This is certainly another confidence-building measure. And Rav Dena says, Moshe wants to know who he is. He needs to hear his merits are based on what he's done in the past, but God tells him what he's capable of and what he'll do in the future. Has this ever happened to you? That you needed a confidence boost? And you went to somebody who you fully expected would be on your side, and give you what you needed, but no, the person is pointing to what your responsibility is and what you should be doing instead of building you up. We often wonder why we aren't receiving the support we need, why it's so hard for other people to say to us what we need to hear. This passage teaches us to realize the explanation for this lack of support is rarely that the other party is just being insensitive, selfish, or stubborn. Usually, the answer is that the other person has their own needs. They have their own reasons for their responses or lack thereof, which reflect their own preoccupations, their own understanding, and their own needs. And so, may our Shabbos blessing be, may we be blessed to recognize the needs of others when we are called upon and to respond to them according to their needs, their self-doubt, and not ours. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.